1-1 on the road this weekend. What was working for you guys?
Well, I'll say it was honestly, I don't think our best weekend. I mean, we've definitely gotten better, but when we go back and look at both of those games, I think Oral Roberts, we say defensively we definitely have improved. We did a lot of things well in terms of when we played half-court defense. And yes, they scored a lot of points, but we gave them a lot of looks in transition from our turnovers. And so we take care of the ball better in that game. I really think that we would have walked away really happy with the defensive effort and what we did. But obviously that's not the case. So our offense kind of put our defense in a compromised situation. And then I look at the Denver game, and I think that first half was nowhere near what we were capable of, but still felt really confident about what our team could do in that game. You know, went into halftime, and there was probably, 10 things we could have pointed to and said we needed to clean up or do a little bit better. But at the end of the day, it just felt like we needed to play together more and look for some of those easy things. And when we did those, we had a fantastic third quarter. So I think what's working for us is our defense is improving. We've seen significant strides in the last month on that side of the ball. But we've also seen several games where we've had players scoring in double figures, multiple players scoring in double figures, and I think that makes us a really difficult team to guard. And I think we know teams are going to be keyed in on Casey. But when you have Kaya that, gets a little bit of a hot start, or Kira who can get to the rim and do some things, I think it opens things up for Casey, and that's huge for us.
Yeah, that Denver game was close at half, came back, obviously, in the second half. What did you talk about at halftime, or how did you guys come out differently in the third quarter to finish that game?
Yeah, honestly, we hardly talked about X's and O's. It was more or less just the things that we needed to do coming together wise, and the intensity and the energy and where our mindset was. Our first half was sloppy, disjointed, whatever you want to call it. It just didn't feel like we were playing as a team. And so, quite frankly, our focus was come together. Don't worry about, one player or the other. Don't worry about what your stat line looks like. Don't worry about that. Worry about moving the ball, finding open people. And one of the first possessions of the second half, Denver's in a zone. We work the ball. Casey finds Samaya wide open on the block. And it was a great moment in that it proved, hey, work the ball, work together, we'll find something easy.
St. Thomas on Saturday. You guys already played them at home. What are you talking about for this weekend?
Well, we played down there December 29th, and that feels like forever ago, thankfully. We've watched that film and thought that our defense was not good that night. They shot incredibly well, hit 13 threes, and so that's hard to stop a team when they're shooting like that. But we think that we've emphasized that side of the ball quite a bit since then, and hopefully improved quite a bit since then. And I think that we're a much more confident team than we were then. I think back to the time of year there, and I would definitely call that a slump in our season and probably a point where our confidence was wavering. But I think that we've kind of fixed our mindset a little bit in terms of realizing that we can do some good things, and we've come a long way. So defense will be huge. You're hearing that every week from me. Sorry, I'm not giving you any good headlines. It's the same thing every week. But we can't give up 95 points. We need to play defense and, get out or stop them in transition and get out on the three-point line.
Protecting the Betty was a big thing last year. So far this year, I think it's 5 and 6. How important is this next 3-game stretch, all being at home, to your season right now?
Well, it's huge from the perspective of, we do want to protect the Betty. We want to be very good at home, and we know how hard it is to play on the road. So in order to, finish in the top half of this league, you do have to do really well at home. So huge. And then, of course, 2 of those games are going to be against schools that we have not played yet, with South Dakota and NDSU. And if it's got Dakota in the name, we're going to consider it a rival. So big games for us from just a league standing perspective, but for sure, we want to get the Betty rocking again. It was loud and it was fun last year, and our players feed off of that, but our players got to give the fans something to feed off of as well.